I'm offering
scenarios.
sexual favors to the interplanetary god. Please save me.
They sound pretty ineffective if he's that large.
I'll take my chances.
You need a whole squad.
We need a professional. Margot,
Where are you at? Margot, come back.
we have a job for you. We need to save the planet, Margot. Me like Big Bang.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. And it don't get any bigger than this, trust me.
Holy shit.
You got a fetish club, right? And like over here, you got
Feet people.
Yeah, you got the feet people. And then over here, you got the people that like to be choked a little bit. And all of a sudden, the door opens, and the people that like to be shit on walk in. And you're like, everybody starts like, the feet people and the choking people start to sit together. They're like, hey, and the guy that likes to get shit on. He's like fucking smelling the light sockets. And he's fucking playing, And you're like, oh man, like who let this guy in? Because too late. He's in.
Yeah. All right, Ed, cue the music. Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your host, Nelson.
Yeah, nah.
Ed.
All right, so this week's episode, we're going to dive into some of the wrestling's biggest, greatest moments, wrestlers themselves, the heels, the good guys.
Everything we love about professional wrestling.
That's right. Yep. Everything in between, including Mike Tyson's appearance.
And some things we hate about professional wrestling.
Including Mike Tyson's appearance. But before we get into that, I want to let you guys know that actually I have some insider information about Roman Reigns.
Yep.
We'll reveal it at the end of the episode, so stick around, and I guarantee it'll be worth your time. So, no further ado, let's talk to Ed and find out what's new in your world.
What's going on, Ed?
So,
Well, that was good. So, Ian, how about you?
so those NFTs, no.
No! Jesus, no. I have nightmares about NFTs and Bitcoin.
No, take it away, Ed.
Yes.
I learned something.
Let's have a deep discussion of non-fungible tokens.
What's a good storyline to fall asleep to?
Game Pass, the subscription that keeps on giving. Forza Horizon 5 came out.
Ooh.
I play like one racing game a console generation because I am trash at racing games.
So you play one racist game every console?
Oh, there's more than one racist game every console.
Right. You've seen my library, obviously.
Being I have Game Pass, it's free to download and play it. I downloaded, I started playing, love the game, fantastic. It's it's a racing game essentially, but it's an open world. So you just cruising around, you find a race, you jump on a race, and there's from off-road to drifting to street races and everything in between.
Like a GTA Online kind of thing.
Yeah, it's essentially GTA but all racing.
Okay,
so
cool.
it works out really good.
What about customization of cars? Anything like that?
Customization is absolutely insane.
See, that's what drives me into the game. I love customizing the cars that I'm fucking around with.
Yeah, and then you can actually
Gran Turismo 2 was the first game I saw that had that like crazy customization.
Yeah.
For me, it was Need for Speed Underground. I don't know if you've ever
no,
played it.
talking about the cosmetic customization, not the actual engine and all that other shit.
Yeah, I want my car to look badass.
Spinning rims.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And actually, you can do all that, both sides, and you can upload it, and people can go and download and rate your customizations and things like
dope.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So the game's fantastic. I enjoyed it enough that I went and I actually purchased a wheel, force feedback wheel, the G920 to play the game with. I'm having that much fun.
What do you think about it?
The racing wheel is fantastic until I got sick and I realized the things that the racing wheel makes easier when you're sick and feeling shitty and slow, it makes it that much harder.
Yes. So
Is it just like? Do you have at least like have when you're driving the wheel? Do you have like things you can shift like pedals?
Yeah, it has it has the paddle shifters on the back.
It has
the brake, the clutch,
trucker
the
simulator.
gas.
Nice.
You can
trucker simulator. Fall asleep at the wheel. Does it compensate for that?
No, you fall asleep at the wheel, the game's gonna start taking over for a bit.
Is there like an unlockable Tesla where you just like sit back and watch it?
Yeah.
There was a DeLorean recently. I had missed the DeLorean by like 2 days.
So it didn't start. Is what you're saying? Because like the DeLoreans were
I-
prone to a lot of actual fucking issues where they didn't work, which is why they took them off the market in the first place. Back to the Future made them popular. Shitty mechanics made them unpopular.
Oh yeah. No, no, they don't have anything. I would love for them to put things like that, and I'm sure the more in-depth sim racing. So when I started looking at getting a wheel, I didn't need anything crazy expensive. But I did want it to actually give the feedback from the game to the wheel.
You want it to perform like a car.
Exactly. But some of the stuff when you start going into sim racing is, I mean, the wheel alone without the motor that it connects to and the game is like, you can spend like $2,000 on just the wheel.
Damn.
But they're like replicas with like the quick release you would have in like a race car and all kinds of absurd shit. The sim racing is insane. I just needed a wheel that actually gives me the feedback from the game, and that's all I wanted. Just to, because certain things with the control stick, they don't work quite right. It's almost like you're turning all the way or you're not. It's very hard to be like kind of turning, even as good as the controllers have got. So I was like, yeah, this will be good. I don't need anything crazy, but yeah, it doesn't work well.
So
when you're
essentially,
feeling
you're
sick.
like the Puerto Rican Ricky Bobby right now, right? Ricardo Bobby.
I will be in a couple of days. I did get after because I had put it onto a desk, and the force feedback can start shaking the desk pretty good.
Yeah.
So I do have a sim racing rig to put the wheel and the pedals on to sit properly.
And so
and
it
play.
began. He's gonna be that. He's gonna have that $2,000 setup by the time everything is said and done.
He's good to go.
It's like, yeah, and you know what? Might as well. I'm having fun with it. It's a birthday gift to myself.
Hey, listen. Sometimes you got to do that.
My favorite card game was always Twisted Metal.
I love Twisted Metal. That was such a fun
They tried.
fucking game.
They
to
tried
play.
bringing it back. It didn't work
Yeah,
so well.
it's not.
Yeah,
It's not coming back.
And that sucks. I mean, I like. Who doesn't like an ice cream truck with a killer clown? Yeah, you want that clown with the face and
Talking of things that came back, G4, the actual gaming network, is back. So
now on TV or like YouTube channel?
on TV, on Twitch, on YouTube.
Sweet.
I like watching on Twitch, on YouTube, because you get all the behind the scenes in between shit that they're shooting at the same time, and then there is some slightly different stuff that they shoot just for the TV also. So you get to see like everything that happens in between when they say cut and go.
Right.
And so
that's cool.
it ends up being a very different experience when you're watching, because they're shooting the segments and they're doing all that, and it is live, and you have the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat and all that kind of stuff going on.
Cool.
And you got a healthy chunk of the original hosts and everything, and even some of the people from behind the scenes are back working behind the scenes
they brought
again.
back Olivia Munn.
Well, they brought her back for a special, but she ain't sticking around.
All
She's
right,
a movie star at this point.
Fuck that show. So Ian, what about you, my man?
Not much going on. I've been playing a lot of Fallout 4. It's an older one.
Fantastic
Yes.
game.
It's an older one, but I'm
classics.
getting ready for the apocalypse. You know? I'm developing some strategies. You know, with the way the world's going.
All right, so are you
gonna
an
be prepped.
evil or a good guy in the is it post-apocalyptic or is it apocalyptic?
It's a post-apocalyptic.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
it's
right.
post-apocalyptic. I do tend to use my charisma to extort money. I
I was gonna say it's taking you a very long time to answer. You're thinking about what's the
I
most
was
polite
thinking
way to
it,
say
but I
rob people.
I'm sorry, but when I meet someone and it's like, okay, so I'm traveling along with my laser rifle and my
Right.
power armor,
As one
and I
should
bang
do.
into
Yes.
a person in need. And she says, "Oh, can you please get my husband back? He was taken by raiders."
How much are you paying me?
Right, and the options are like, where did they go? I don't have time for this. But then, like in the left, it says like, ask for more money.
Yeah.
And it's highlighted in fucking yellow. Like,
So of course you got to ask for more
you know,
money. It's highlighted.
I didn't put 8 points of charisma into my character for nothing. That's not why I did that. So I just
Right.
tend to hit the square button.
All right,
you know?
okay.
Yeah.
So, but all right, so that begs the question then.
But then it gets worse because after she says, "Okay, I have this much caps paid up," there's a red option there.
Yes.
That says like, "Still ask for more caps." You know. So I'm like, like.
so do you take it? Do you take the red option?
See, now we're getting risky. Now I usually drop a quick save,
Right.
ask for it, and then we'll see what happens.
All right, okay. So
yes, I'm a shitty person.
Okay, that's
You
what
were
I was going to
alluding
ask
to
you.
it,
I was going to
yes.
say, in the real world, would you be that? Would you be the person that looks for the yellow option?
Depends on the situation. Depends on my leverage over this person. It depends on the risk versus reward. Depends on the person.
right? Because I feel like us as like
the
fighters
person- yeah.
or even ex-military, ex-cops, I feel like anybody with some kind of real life skills are gonna have advantage over like pencil pushers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people in the medical field, people in the fields of construction, people with know-how are gonna have absolute leverage over like, oh well, I used to sell cars. Oh, how's that working out for you now?
Selling a lot of cars while there's no gasoline left.
I was a master barista. Ooh, go get my coffee, bitch.
Yeah. I could really use a latte to go with this radiation poisoning. Yeah. But can you make a splint when a super mutant hits you with a stop sign? That's the fucking question.
Yes.
That's
Can
what I
you
need to know.
berimbolo that bitch to the
Yes,
floor?
yes. Exactly. Can you suture this wound shut when I get
Goddamn
bitten
right.
by a mole rat? I need these skills.
Yeah, I always love watching those shows, even in like Battlestar Galactica, the reboot, not the original, like where they really delve into like the human aspect of post-apocalyptic, like we're on the run and what's really gonna matter at the end of the day. And a lot of it really comes down to self-preservation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so like
Well, a lot of the times in those zombie horror things, I mean,
Yeah.
the people end up trying to help other people and they get fucked for it.
yeah.
Like you bring someone else along, if they're just dragging ass,
Right.
they're I mean shit, they've now become baggage.
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole thing in The Walking Dead. Eventually, it's not about the zombies. It's about the people that are left surviving.
Right.
And what do you got to do to actually survive?
Enter Negan.
So
yeah, and what do you do when you run into people who are like, we're out for ourselves?
But to
first.
be fair, it's not like you can really shoot a show about the zombies, right? Because the conversation is going to be like, brains. Wow, this is a compelling show.
So the Kardashians, basically.
Yeah. What does zombie wear today? You know what I mean? Actually, you know, it's funny. Attack of the Show did a zombie in the office
Oh, yes.
skit way back in the day. And like, he's like, everybody is afraid of me. They stay away from me. You know, like, fucking stupid.
Shit's falling off.
All right, so for me, I've been watching the new Hawkeye series, and I have to say I like it.
Fell asleep watching.
Yeah, fell asleep watching it. Was this before or after like a sick marathon run?
I was really tired.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you probably worked 30 hours, ran fucking 60 miles.
Sorry.
Did like 100 squats, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna watch Hawkeye.
Okay, but I will say this: for the first part of it that I was watching, and I probably made it like 70% before my lights went
Okay.
out. It was good.
Right.
The whole, that she's got family issues.
Yeah,
There's some
yeah.
stuff there. There's some substance.
I like it.
Hawkeye as a hearing aid.
They're playing into that. They're delving into
And,
that.
and the comics, he is deaf.
Yes.
There are canon parts where he is deaf in the comics, yes.
Well, there you go. Now the handicapped have another champion.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
I will never talk shit on Hawkeye. I was unaware, sir, that you were using echolocation. I apologize.
No, I think what they're doing with it, it's a family show, right? Like it's going back to the original formula for the Avengers. It's fun, it's got a lot of action, but it's something you can sit down with the whole family and kind of enjoy. They're definitely diving into the die-hard Christmas
I picked
action
up on the
theme.
Christmas thing.
Yeah. And I like it. I
wanted to go skating as soon as the episode started. Oh, that looks so nice.
Because I think that the Marvel Universe is going to take a turn for the dark coming up pretty shortly, especially with shows like Moon Knight, which I think is
that gonna be a show?
It's severely underrated.
It's gonna be a show?
Yes, it's going to be a show.
What about Blade? Is Blade?
Blade is going to be a show as well, but
think
he's
so.
also going to be. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a show, and I think he's definitely going to be in the cinematic universe. So they are going to move into a darker side of things. So I think it's good that they keep a wide variety so that everybody can still enjoy.
Yeah.
Marvel
what's
is the
going
thing
on.
to be a part of right now.
Yeah.
It's just.
And the Tracksuit Mafia. I mean, they are the best villains.
I have not
to date.
I have
love
not got
that
there
name.
yet, but
They are
I-
entertaining.
Yeah, bro. That's all they say. They're like, bro. But come on, bro. Let's kill him, bro. Bro, what did you say
Are
to
they
me,
Russian?
bro?
They're Russian. Russians in tracksuits. God.
It's implied. It's implied. Yes.
I will catch up tonight. I
So
promise.
it's funny.
Talking about joining the MCU, there's rumors of Keanu Reeves
I saw a thing.
Yes,
for that.
there is.
looking to join.
What's
So
he
who
gonna
would
be?
you like? I would say Ghost Rider would be the best fit for him.
That could work.
I think we should resurrect the corpse of Nicolas Cage and just get him back out there. Come on, Nick.
Now, see, but they could still use Nick Cage, and Keanu Reeves can play the other
successor.
Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is Johnny Blaze. They call him. Yeah, no shit. So I could see him playing that. I liked him as John Constantine, but
Wait a
that's
minute.
DC.
Johnny Blaze is Ghost Rider's name?
Johnny Blaze is a different variant of
What's
Ghost Rider.
the
Method
human,
Man?
What's the Human Torch's name?
The Human Torch is the Human Torch.
Isn't his name like something Blaze too?
Oh. I want to say it starts with Johnny. I don't remember the last name.
They couldn't do that. Marvel couldn't do that.
Oh, you mean that they wouldn't make Deadpool and then Deathstroke, or they wouldn't make
Okay.
Superman and like Omni-Man and like characters rip off of each other all the time. But yeah,
I think
look it up.
is it Marvel.
Hey,
Marvel, yeah, look that up. It's Marvel and they're both the same.
yes, yeah. Well, they are. Yeah. So
They
they're
couldn't do
stealing
that.
from each
They
other.
couldn't do that. They couldn't do that because there'd be arguments everywhere. Not Johnny Blaze. We were talking about
Yeah,
Johnny Blaze.
so what do they got there? Because I
Let's
thought
see. Jonathan Blaze, and the person we have up here is Ghost Rider, Nicolas Cage.
boom.
Okay.
All right. So then what are they calling
what's
the
the-
Fantastic Four kid there? I thought it was.
what
I
was
thought
the Human Torch. I thought it was the Human Torch.
I thought his real name was like Johnny.
You're thinking of Method Man. You're too into the Wu-Tang Clan right now. You're deep in there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
white guy with a ponytail. Can't get Method Man out of my mind.
Kid, that's right. Oh man. All right. So while Eddie is looking that up,
But I have a question.
I know that.
I have
Go
a
for
question.
it.
Well, he's looking it up. I have a question.
Go for it.
Okay, so I've been watching the show, and now like you got
Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm.
Storm.
Got it. All right, good. We're off the hook. We're
Okay.
off the hook.
Yeah, it took me a second.
I
Yeah, Sue
apologize to
Storm
the
was
entire
sister.
Fantastic
Yeah.
Four
Okay, because
family. I
of
apologize.
the storms.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
Johnny
forgot
and
about
Sue.
that. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But so we got another girl with a bow.
Yes.
The enemies that we're starting to face, if we've seen the Eternals,
Mm-hmm.
are like giant, bigger than planet-sized gods, virtually, that create
Right.
and destroy life.
Yes.
Correct. So what are you trying to say?
What are you going to do with the bow?
Oh, it's
Because I don't know about you, but when a being comes to my planet that is larger than my planet, and I go, man, what I could really use right now
Is a bow.
is something that would throw a sharp fucking
Well, see,
stick at that thing.
If you
At
stayed,
maybe 80 miles an hour.
if you stayed
He's
awake,
Slingshot Man next.
if you stayed awake long enough, even Hawkeye says my main weapon is 2 sticks and a string.
Right. Yes.
All
yes.
right, there you go. Exactly.
play
So
on
what
it.
are we going to do?
So basically, what they are there for, they are the lower level,
Street level thugs.
street level
Okay.
superheroes. They're never gonna be, and that's why I think Hawkeye was like, I gotta retire, like I gotta move out. Like he himself realized, and he plays on it in the show and emphasizes on it that. Hey, I'm done. I
Yeah.
just want to be a family man at this point. I
The-
did what
well,
I could.
I would too if what the hell was going on.
Oh, yeah,
After Thanos, I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I was a really good in archery class, but shit, I
Yeah.
can't,
I mean, because even after Thanos snapped, right, he became the Ronin, and he was essentially just going after like bad guys and killing.
I think he was also looking
Mafia
for
and
possibly die
Yakuza.
himself. I think he
Most
was looking for
definitely.
Yeah.
like a way out.
Yeah. He
know.
felt guilty after
Nothing
surviving.
left to live. Your family, nothing. He
Yeah,
just-
his side piece, because clearly they were probably.
yeah. He probably left the wife and kids at home.
They
and
talk about what happened in.
I'm gonna
what-
get me
what
some
country was
Natasha
that?
Romanov. You know what I mean? You know?
In Budapest?
Yeah, what happened in Budapest? I want to know what happened in
Yeah.
Budapest.
His wife's like, "Are we going skiing?" She's like, "Oh, I got a mission. I got a mission.
Going back to Budapest. Going back to Budapest.
Avengers stuff.
Avengers stuff.
You left your bow. I don't need it. I
But
don't
they're
need it.
fighting Ultron. He's literally made of steel and metal and
Yeah.
vibranium. Like
vibranium.
Can your arrows even penetrate him? No, but they make a ding, and it really annoys him.
It pisses him off really bad.
Yeah, sacrificial lamb. Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. Bow and arrows, they're definitely becoming obsolete in the Marvel universe, but
The Eternals definitely. Well, we're
Stepped it
bringing
up.
a sword in now with
but it's an enchanted magical
all
sword.
right. That's
Yeah.
fair.
So does he have an enchanted magical bow and arrow?
I don't know. I feel like if the guy with the enchanted sword is ready to fight, and the thing that is bigger than the planet just punches the planet, I think the guy with the enchanted magical thing that is maybe the size of one of the cells in that creature
Okay.
loses. I don't fucking
think about
know.
it like this. When you're on a construction site,
Like if there's an ant on this table right now, like a fucking one of sugar ant, not even a regular ant, a sugar ant, and he's on this table and he has a mystical sugar ant weapon that is
okay.
made to kill humans, and I just went,
splat. All right, but think about it like this.
He fucking loses.
You're thinking about it wrong, right? If you're on a construction site, right, and you're a
Right.
big ass human, and you
Right.
step on a nail and it goes through your foot, it hurts.
But the size of the nail to me is not as regular.
Fuck! Stop bringing logic into here. So, let's say he
The end of
punches
the
the
Eternals.
planet.
The end of the Eternals put it in the scope for me. For me, as a Marvel fan, it put it in the scope
You're
for
right,
me.
you're right.
When I saw that fucking Eternal appear in
Yes.
the atmosphere above
Yes.
the planet,
Yeah.
I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like we became an aquarium. Like,
Yeah.
the whole planet and all its heroes were just like an exhibit
Yeah,
for
alien
this
ant
thing to
farm.
look at.
Alien ant farm.
Yes, absolutely. I was like, you can't fight that thing.
Yeah, that's
if
true.
he sneezes right now, our planet is going to get blown off the axis, and we're all going to freeze.
Right,
to death.
right. So
like
there's-
that thing is a monster.
There's no
Like,
leg sweeping Galactus.
Yeah, I would be the pessimist. I'm the pessimist here. I'm the guy that's going to go. There can be no victory here. I am sorry. Let's
All right.
negotiate with it.
I would have to agree with you. And then we're back to post-apocalyptic.
Yes, I'm offering sexual
Scenarios.
favors to the interplanetary god. Please save me.
They sound pretty ineffective if he's that large.
I'll take my chances.
You need a whole squad.
We need a professional. Margot,
Margot, where are you at? Margot, come back.
Margot, we have a job for you. We need to save the planet, Margot. Me like Big Bang.
Yes, she does.
And they don't get any bigger than this, trust me.
Holy shit. I can't wait till she sees that
Oh,
shit.
that was good. That was good.
All right, so let's dive into this WWE. So wrestling, WCW, WWE, ECW, you know, all the
New Japan.
New Japan, you know, which I know nothing about.
Okay, it's all right.
But I'm sure you do.
I'll fill you in.
I'm sure you do. Do we count sumo? Do we count sumo in this?
No, because that's actually like professional
That's
wrestling.
professional.
We will. I guess we'll count the whole thing as a whole as like it does take athletics, but
All
it's
right.
more of a theater.
Okay.
It's more of an entertainment put on. Whereas sumo, there is definitely a real
So
result
we
and
are
an actual
stating
competition.
that we do know that it is fake, but it is still real in the aspect. It's
You
still,
mean Ric Flair's not a super athlete? What? Oh my god!
Holy shit! You mean Undertaker's not really undead?
What? Kane doesn't control lightning? What?
No, he doesn't. And
No.
fire around the ring. Yeah,
That's
that's
not how it goes.
Okay, all right. So we're establishing
Yes.
this as a whole,
Yes.
but we are also establishing that it does take real athleticism. There's real fighting skills involved, real entertainment and value to it, and it's something that's tried and true. I mean, how long have like wrestling organizations captivated an audience?
We're coming up on almost 100 years of
Yeah.
professional wrestling.
It's male soap opera.
Yeah.
Let's it is
Yes.
what it is.
It's been around a long time.
yeah, longer than Eddie's had. So
Which is saying something.
that too is a mystical item.
It is. It boosts his intelligence and charisma by 4.
Well, then you better get another hat. So let's jump into something like biggest moments. All right, in wrestling, I keep saying WWE because it's the main brand. It's kind of like saying UFC or
I remember,
NFL.
It used to be WWF for the World Wildlife Federation.
Oh, I know, man. They
That
fucked
panda,
them up.
That panda
Yep.
took their
They're the real champions.
took a chunk out of their ass.
But they fought that for a long time,
Yeah,
right?
Vince is a sore loser.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's like, I'm gonna hold on to this and drain as much money out of this organization that's doing good for wildlife because I like my name.
That's right.
And even the slogan "Get the F out" when it came out was pretty fucking great.
Yeah.
So like he did a good job with
Vince
it. He
is
knew
a
how to
smart.
market.
Vince is a smart guy. Vince
Oh yeah,
is
he's a
smart guy.
businessman extraordinaire. For
Every now and then, professional wrestling does something though. That's because I remember when they did that the brawl for it all. Remember when they did like the actual boxing?
yeah.
They had actual boxing matches take place between WWE stars.
Yeah.
and people got hurt. I mean,
Yeah.
remember, who fought Butterbean? Somebody fought Butterbean.
I
I don't
remember.
even remember.
Somebody fought Butterbean at WrestleMania and got literally
Just
the soul
clobbered.
knocked out of him.
Terrible
Well,
idea.
it was yeah. Thank you. They
Yes.
literally call it one of the worst ideas in professional wrestling history.
yeah.
because They
Oh,
said,
yeah.
let's get a professional wrestler who wins our tournament
Yes.
to go up against the super heavyweight boxing champion of the world.
Who just punches motherfuckers lights
Yeah,
out.
he doesn't have a neck.
But didn't they do that with Randy Couture in the UFC? They put him to fight.
Oh yeah, well James Toney,
James Toney.
who's one of the best defenders fighters of all time.
And
but
Randy Couture just fucking dragged him into deep water, man.
Usain Bolt's fast as shit, but if you make him swim against Michael Phelps,
You mean he's not gonna win?
I have my money on Phelps.
Oh, fuck,
That's
the
all.
math doesn't add up.
It doesn't.
So for big moments, for me, I would say the biggest moment that I remember growing up as a kid was when Mankind
Oh yeah.
went through the steel cage, from the top of the steel cage into the center of the ring.
Undertaker put him through it, right?
Undertaker put him through
Yeah.
chokeslam style. I couldn't believe the motherfucker could get up after that. Like, and that's when I still kind of thought some of it was real. I was a true believer. Santa Claus was still my boy. But that, to me, when I seen that, I was like, these guys transcend what they're doing. Like, it was just such a wild moment. Like, everybody talked about it. It was just as big as like a Mike Tyson fight, back in the day.
Well, people got involved in it. I mean, they were larger than life characters, and
Yeah.
it's entertaining. It's literally what it is: sports entertainment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, you don't have to. Like, some people take it seriously.
Yeah.
Some people live by it, but
Oh,
it's-
they do.
and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It just there's more of a cult like following with professional wrestling.
There is.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you don't see Trekkies going to the convention going, it's real. When am I joining? What?
Some of
What?
some of them may.
Some are trying real hard. Real hard.
Listen, man, you got people that believe in flat Earth. Okay, it's 2021. I know we're coming into 2022, but they still believe in fucking flat Earth. Like,
Shots fired.
so that's my moment. Ian, what you got?
I don't know. There's a lot of them because I did watch professional wrestling a lot. I mean, it was always on every Monday night.
Right. Monday
Raw.
night.
Monday Night Raw was my thing. Every now and then I tune in for SmackDown, but
Yeah.
Raw was my shit. Pretty much for me, I would say my favorite moment, and this is a little before my time, but I still love it, was any Ultimate Warrior walkout. When I saw that dude, like, he was just the amount of cocaine and steroids that this man had to have
It was the poster
ingested.
boy for Ritalin.
Yeah. The fact, I mean, rest in peace, the Ultimate Warrior. But
of
the fact that he made it to the Hall of Fame induction and then died the next day says everything. Like, he hung on just for that.
Yeah.
Like, literally, this dude, his walkouts, like, just playing, dun, 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 and like he would run. He would start running from the locker room.
He was pure
Like,
adrenaline.
Yes, and then he would get out there, like he had bands tied on his arms, so they were enormous. And then he would just grab the rope and he was a fucking monster.
He was a savage.
Dude,
was a
anything he
savage.
did, and his move was just simple as shit. The warrior, he would pick a
press.
man up,
Yes.
a 300+ pound man,
Yeah.
military press him, like straight up, and then just drop their corpse behind him. I was like, what? Your move is literally just a military press. Like, I'm sorry.
All right,
Like,
so for you, it's the Ultimate Warrior.
the
Anything
energy
he
that
did.
I mean, his promos were just all savagery. A lot of it was like watching a guy going through like a crazy religious experience and speaking nonsense. Like, you couldn't follow his promos. He couldn't
Right.
cut a promo like Flair
Right.
or even Hogan. He couldn't cut a promo like Savage. So that's not what his thing was. His thing was just the whole like he was a
But people bought into it, right?
Yes.
I mean, I know I did. The Ultimate Warrior was
he beat
definitely
Hulk
a
Hogan for the
classic
belt.
favorite.
He beat
Yeah.
the fans pushed him for a while, but then him and Vince
Yeah.
kind of had
They
a
fell off.
and if you chemically don't mix with Vince,
You ain't gonna do
don't
good.
you don't do well in the company.
Yeah.
So.
No, not for long. No.
But for me, yes, I would say the Ultimate Warrior. There was something about him that I was like, oh my god.
So it was
like,
the Ultimate Warrior and the walkout.
dude, it was just so much energy. It was so much energy, and I don't see that with other guys.
All right, okay.
I don't
okay.
like.
I can see that.
I mean,
It's-
John Cena's music is pretty good.
Yeah.
It became the biggest fucking meme of all time. There was this one skit that I was
yeah.
listening to where like it was like somebody
prank
trying
call?
to sell. Yes.
The prank call is the best.
It's like, how about John?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you ready for what? Like, for this Sunday, Cena and the Undertaker in a hot oil wrestling match.
Nobody wants to see that shit.
So yeah, there's certain things like that, like the Undertaker's ding. But I think the energy that the Ultimate Warrior brought when he would start running out was just
All right,
you knew
cool.
some shit was about to go down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
that
Ed,
dude-
what about you?
You mentioned Mankind, and you picked the one where he fell through the cage, but I think in that fight the bigger move that they had pulled off is when he threw him off the cage on
Yeah.
through the
The
announcer
announcement
table.
He got really fucked up.
Because through the cage, your landing is the cage.
Right.
And you got to say, well, nah, you're losing like 5 feet before you hit the ground. That announcer's table, you're going through it. And if you miss, you're hitting ground.
Yeah, that's
true.
Just, that's floor.
I don't care how
floor.
you set that table to absorb the impact. It's still going to hurt.
Even the jiu-jitsu mat hurts.
Oh, yeah.
You jump 30 feet on the jiu-jitsu mat, you ain't getting up. That's it. Your bones are going to say,
I
nah.
think he put like some of his teeth through from his bottom part of his mouth through the top part of his lip.
In his book, the back cover or the back page, if I don't remember exactly.
That's Craigslist.
It's got all of the
Back page.
injuries
Never been there.
that he had through his wrestling career. And it's a long fucking list of injuries.
Yeah.
Well, he's Mankind is like, well, Mick Foley he's kind of woven in with that hardcore scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
The
Cactus
ECW
Jack and
guys.
Yeah, like there's the hardcore scene where those dudes just do like,
And I think that was probably the
insane
biggest
shit.
biggest change for WWF was when they folded in with ECW.
Right.
And they brought all of those guys in. And the matches went from
Sabu and Rhino.
And then
just-
all of a sudden,
Sandman.
Yeah.
matches now had kendo sticks. They had barbed wire, thumbtacks, tables that they were lighting on fire, out of the Dudley Boys, and all of those. I think that was probably the biggest moment.
they would cover the ring with barbed wire.
Yeah.
Like the whole ropes.
Oh,
and shit.
yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Didn't they do an Inferno match where they set the ring on fire with
Yes.
Kane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People got burned.
Yes.
People,
Yes.
people got burned. Legitimately burned.
Like,
Imagine,
oh, I got
imagine
an
that in the
idea.
meeting before the event. Like, some of you are going to be burned. And you're just Chris Jericho there with your long hair, like, what do you mean we're going to get burned?
I guess I'm not putting gel in that bitch today.
Yeah, shit. Flame retardant and Vaseline it is.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably the biggest thing because I remember when they merged even with WCW. That really did that brought people in, but it wasn't as big as an impact on what they were putting out.
Oh, well, I beg to differ. Okay, because when they took
WCW.
WCW in, didn't they bring in the NWO because of that?
Well, they brought in those people, but they
Yeah.
didn't. It didn't change the format of what they were doing.
No, it didn't change the format, but it
didn't-
changed the brand
It
a
didn't
bit.
bring in barbed wire, tables
No,
on
no.
Yeah.
fire,
ECW
and
was
fighting
a different
and
like,
fighting
thing.
in
Yes,
the crowd.
no, that I agree, but I think when the WCW came into play and you brought in the NWO, it changed.
It's kind of
the
like
WWE
you
landscape
got
for a little
you
while
got
there.
you got a fetish club, right? And like over here you got
Feet people.
Yeah, you got the feet people. And then over here you got the people that like to be choked a little bit. And all of a sudden the door opens and the people that like to be shit on walk in. And you're like, everybody starts like, the feet people and the choking people start to sit together. They're like, hey, and the guy that likes to get shit on. He's like fucking smelling the light sockets and he's fucking playing, and you're like, oh man, like who let this guy in? Too late. He's in.
You got to remember because then they started having things like the hardcore belt and
Yeah.
the Falls Count Anywhere. You
Yeah.
had Vince
I remember
getting beat up in the hospital room.
In his office.
In his office. You had people getting beat up in hotel rooms, in
Okay, all
grocery stores and shit.
I would
That was
have
good-
to
that was
agree,
good- that was
but
good stuff.
then the same goes for characters like Jeff Hardy. He pretty much revolutionized with Edge the ladder matches.
Oh, yeah.
When I think of people taking stupid risks, I think of like Jeff Hardy, and I think of, believe it or not, Shane McMahon.
Shane McMahon,
Yeah.
Shane McMahon
yes.
has jumped off some shit.
Yeah, he
where
has.
The guy's got balls.
He's taking some big bumps.
And
Oh,
even though it's set up, and even though they probably rehearsed it but no,
He still
Like,
executed.
tonight, Shane, you have to jump off a fucking
Yeah.
40-foot rafter, and I'm like, oh come on, man.
I think there's a method to that too, though. I think a little bit behind that is like, well, we never ask our employees to do something we're not willing to do ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? So then Vince is like, you got this, son.
Yeah, 'cause
Get
Vin-
out there.
'cause even-
Vince got out there
Even
too, though.
Vince, he had it was like an hour long match. It was an Iron Man fight with Steve Austin.
Yeah,
it was
he-
an
yeah, he-
hour long
yeah.
fight, and they beat the shit
out
out
of
of each other.
Yeah, and Vince McMahon at one point was enormous.
Yes.
He was
Yes.
enormous.
Yeah.
I-
Bigger than some of his wrestlers that he was employing.
Yes.
Daniel
he
Bryan.
was the boss.
He fa- He found a few of those.
Little fucking mountain goat. Get the hell out of here.
Found a few muscle tech supplements that everybody was using backstage.
I'm still bitter about that. We watched a Watch Mojo list earlier.
Yes.
You mean tag Watch Mojo list? How the fuck did you put Daniel Bryan at number 8 for greatest wrestlers?
And
of all
then
time?
Hulk Hogan as an honorable mention? Get the fuck out of here. What are you watching? No Andre the Giant.
No, Andre the Giant wasn't even on there.
Not even an honorable mention.
Triple H wasn't even on there.
What the fuck?
Well, Triple H at least got an honorable mention.
He did.
But no
Andre the Giant didn't get mentioned at all.
Watch Mojo. I'd like to inform you, Andre the Giant was the greatest big man of all time. He made the company what it was. They named the Royal Rumble after him. You might have heard of him. I don't know.
A little relevant.
Yeah, you know,
just a little bit.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah. Andre Roussimoff from France, 7'1", 500 pounds. You ever hear of him? I don't fucking know. You know, Big Show stole his whole gimmick. I don't know.
Since you brought it up, all right. So if we're talking about best wrestlers ever, right? Who would be your number one go-to as best wrestler? And I'm gonna say The Rock. The Rock is mine. The Rock is the best. The promos.
That's a good one. I mean,
the fighting.
You can argue that
He would steal the audience, and not only that, he is probably the wrestler that transitioned the best from WWE into the movie mainstream.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, the Rock's. I mean, he's a presidential candidate, possibly. I mean, if you're going off charisma, The Rock may be the best of all time. If you're going off charisma,
Right.
Yeah.
Because he's got how many companies? He's literally on the face. I mean, how many movies have we seen in the last 5 years with the guy?
He's in half
Every
the movies.
other.
He's in
Every
half
other.
the fucking movies.
the biggest Netflix movie of all time, Red Notice. He just filmed it. It's actually good.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
movie. So I can't. Jungle Cruise.
The biggest,
Jungle Cruise,
biggest, skipper ever.
Yeah.
How are they gonna put him as the fucking skipper? What is gonna happen when you go to Disney World? They got regular ass people.
Yeah.
You're not The Rock.
Yeah.
Look
Get
at
the fuck
you.
outta
Yeah.
here. Well, not
you
only
don't
that,
squat enough, man. There's no.
as a Spaniard, he wasn't even like a conquistador.
No,
Right?
he's enormous.
He was a map maker. What do you call a map maker? You know, the technical term for that shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
Cartography.
He's a cartographer? Are you kidding me?
That is a great word. That's a great word. Cartographer.
So
I'll play Civilization now.
Yeah.
So how did he stay that big, traveling on the water for that long? He's
There's just
eating
no
as
way.
much as 5 people.
Yeah, there's just no way. Yeah, he's eating other sailors.
They have
That's the only fucking way.
They have a hell of a gym on that boat. A hell of a gym.
They're bench pressing horses.
Oh Jesus, that's a fucking monster. No, the Rock's a good argument. That's definitely a good argument. I can't fault that because his name was definitely in my list too for top. I mean, he's up there.
So who would you go with as your number one?
I mean, I'm trying to look at a lot of the aspects. I mean, for promos, I want to say almost Flair because he's like. I mean, hell, that man can cut a.
Woo!
They named the shot after him.
Yes.
That man can cut a promo.
Yeah.
He did wrestle a little too long.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan. I think
he's
he's
still-
I think he kind of bought onto that whole American like.
I am
And
Yes.
eat your and he told the kids to drink their milk and eat their
Yes.
vegetables, but like he was on all the fucking steroids in the world.
You made everybody fat, Hulk. Thanks a lot.
But I heard, but Hulk, I heard your racist remarks and I seen the sex tapes and no, you're not my
and
best.
that tan line, bro, go inside.
Yeah, please
Go inside. Please go inside.
Yeah.
You're going to shrivel up.
And I'm sorry, but his name's Terry, and nobody named Terry.
That's right. His name is Terry.
His name
Which is
Terry.
why they're like, you got to be Hulk.
And
You
Terry
can't
and
be Terry.
Keith are the most unattractive names in the industry. So no, Terry is not going to be the best. For me, I'm sorry to take another shot at Watch Mojo, but I'm going to say that Andre the Giant was the greatest wrestler of all time.
I agree.
And the reason I'm going to say that is because he was. What is professional wrestling? Professional wrestling is entertainment,
Right?
And it's a kind of a freak show in a sense. And Andre Roussimoff was larger than life, and he was undefeated even in the local circuits. They wouldn't let anyone beat him. He had a mythical record until they let Hulk Hogan beat him at the one WrestleMania 3 or something.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a story behind that, too. I don't know if you know that Hulk Hogan didn't know himself if Andre was going to
Andre wouldn't
let
tell
him win.
Yeah.
Yes,
Andre
because
wouldn't-
Andre can decide, I don't fucking think so.
No.
There wasn't anything you could tell the man.
Well, no, Andre the Giant was a real life freak.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he literally was about 7'1", close to 500 pounds. There's a story in his small town in France of a road rage incident where Andre was with his mother in the car, like, you know, elbow in his mom's face, like sitting passenger side. And some guy was saying shit, And Andre got out of the car, and imagine the guy's face when this thing gets out. And this is Andre before
you fucked up.
This is young Andre. This
Yes.
is like 18-year-old Andre, like in shape, working on a farm.
Yep.
Like got out of the car and tipped the fucking car over with the guy. In lifted the car up and pushed it over, like with the guy in it.
Honey, what happened to the car? Well, you see, I was at a red light.
I don't know if somebody wants to look this up, but there's like a record of how many beers he ate in a single. The Guinness World Records has Andre the Giant as the highest drinking achievement.
Wow.
In a single sitting. I gotta look it up. I'll look it up right now.
I believe it, yeah, because that was another thing that they talked
the
about.
cans
that
were
he could
tiny
just
compared to him.
drink.
Oh yeah,
drink
they show
and never
you a
get
beer
drunk.
can. They show you a beer can in his hand. And
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
it looks like a little limerita thing
Yep.
that we like. It's ridiculous.
Oh, that's wild. While he's looking that up, Ed, what about you? Who would be your number one go-to good guy?
I think for the era that I had watched the most wrestling, it would be Steve Austin.
Another good pick.
Because Stone Cold said
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I mean, you
Can't deny the man.
Yeah, Hogan, Andre, Steamboat, those guys set up and brought the eyes to the wrestling on TV.
Right.
But I think at its peak, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Rock, those guys, their era, they probably were bringing in the most money.
Sure. I can definitely agree with that. They were selling Stone Cold shirts so much that they had to put them in regular stores.
Yep.
He was one of the first shirts that they were saying that, like, outside of like the generic WWE brand WWF
Yep.
shit, Stone Cold, everybody wanted Stone Cold Steve Austin shirts.
And that was probably
that Austin
one of,
316 was one of their best sellers.
that was one of the first times that Vince didn't really get to set whether the person was
Yep.
a heel or a baby face.
Yep.
Because Austin was supposed to be a heel, but people loved him so much that they didn't care, and
they
he was
wanted the
essentially a
badass.
baby face anyway.
And I loved how people tried to attack Austin for like the religious thing because Austin 316.
yes.
It was just something he threw out there.
Yeah.
After he won the King of the Ring.
Yeah, it was just an ad lib.
Yeah.
And
Austin
it just
316 says I just whipped your ass.
and it worked.
And people loved him. Like, well, think about who watches pro wrestling.
Yeah.
It's a lot of beer drinking.
Yeah.
Go ahead, say it. Say it, bro. Say
White
it.
wrestling. No, it's a lot of beer drinking Americans. And Stone Cold literally was them.
Yes.
Like,
He was not that
People
he was,
got the reference like that.
Oh
He
yeah.
was,
They saw
he
the
was one
camo
of them.
hat. They
he
saw
was
the knee brace.
king of them. He
Yes.
was everything they aspired to be.
He drives a truck. I drive a truck.
That's right. He drinks beer, smashes the
Yeah.
cans.
He loves beer. He's got a camo hat.
Rode in on he rode a Zamboni
ATV,
before,
the Zamboni,
an ATV,
a Budweiser
a
truck.
Budweiser truck.
He says hell yeah. I say hell yeah. So I
You
just
gotta love the man.
I just looked it up. This record's never going to be broken. It's never going to be broken. In 1976, Andre the Giant was sitting in a pub, and over the period of 6 hours, he consumed 119 12-ounce beers.
Holy shit.
119 12-ounce beers, 6 hours. The record was set in 1976. It'll never be broken.
That's fucking wild.
It'll never be broken.
The size you have to be able to absorb that much alcohol.
And not die from alcohol poisoning.
When Ric Flair says you can drink, you can drink.
Wheeling and stealing. Whining and dining.
Limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun.
All right, so I would say, all right, well, those are our number one picks. If I had to pick another person that was my close second, for me growing up, it was definitely Eddie Guerrero.
Yes.
He
Rest in peace, Eddie.
Yeah, his charisma on screen, he brought the most Latino to wrestling ever. Him and Rey Mysterio had great fights too. They had some legendary battles, but for me, there was something about Eddie Guerrero that spoke to me. I lie, I cheat, I steal. He was always cheating and winning and fucking. He was a badass. He rode in on the fucking the pimped out cars, And
Hey, it's like my old karate instructor used to say, Sensei Ishmael Munoz from Puerto Rican from New York. He said, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
that's right.
He was always telling me thank you, Sensei. He was always telling me to kick people in the knee. Kick people in the knee.
I truly enjoyed every time Eddie Guerrero hit the screen. He number one knew how to wrestle like a G in the ring. That was one of the things. He wasn't only charismatic, but his wrestling skills were bar none. So that would be my runner-up, close second.
Well, him and Benoit were close friends, and Benoit, just all darkness aside, was an animal.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
the crippler.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was always putting himself through risk and stuff like that. I mean, they Eddie and him even had a similar build.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah, and
well, until Eddie disappeared and came back like twice the fucking size.
Okay, yes,
Jesus
yes.
Christ, his arms were huge.
he went on the Rock Regiment.
Well, he must have read the Alistair Overeem fitness book. The horse meat special.
Yes,
He was a big guy to begin with, but then when he had disappeared for like 6 months to a year for an injury, and then he had came back and he was fucking gigantic.
Yes, yes. But think about this too. Like these guys are on the road all the time. So even though you only see one match a week or twice a week, they're wrestling 6-7 days
They're
a
wrestling
week,
multiple days a week.
365
Yeah,
days
because
a
what you see is Monday Night Raw, and what you
Right.
see is SmackDown. What you don't see is Hershey, Pennsylvania. What you don't see is Hackensack, fucking
Because
Missouri.
we went to a show and it ended up being, that's where I learned, a house show.
Yeah.
It's a show that is not televised. So every show they do every day.
Yeah.
Most of them are not televised.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that they know what's going to happen. They've rehearsed it. It's been So it's literally like you're witnessing a performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like these guys are, like you said, they're really good athletes.
Right.
Like it's rehearsed, but when you see a guy pick up a 300-pound man, he literally picked him up. There's not a cable on him.
Yeah.
That dude performed that amazing feat of strength. And that's why these dudes, since they're on the road, they can't have like stable relationships.
Yeah.
They are fucking addicted to pain medication.
Get
Half
hurt.
of them, like Ric Flair, drink every damn night. I mean, Ric Flair was legendary for that. Like he would just go to a local bar and just
They
he'd
had
spend
to
thousands of
subside
dollars.
that pain as much as they could.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
And if you have not seen the ESPN 30 for 30 on Ric Flair, you need to see it. That shit is heavy.
wild.
He
That
is a
heavy.
character.
I
Oh my
watched
God.
the Jake the Snake documentary.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's deep.
That dude's in some pain.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That
And
dude
he
is
went
in
through a
pain.
lot, and Diamond Dallas Page
And
helped
yeah.
him through a really tough time. And it wasn't easy. Even the documentary was had real moments where you were like, is he gonna quit on him? Is he gonna make it through? Like, is he gonna quit on himself? Like it was a tough watch, but it was a good watch too, because you see
Yeah.
after the lights are shining on you and you're living on your own, if you didn't put money away, what your life is like.
And a lot of those older wrestlers they were burning through it.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't something that they thought was going away, but you get one injury that's one too many.
Yeah.
And that's it. Your career's over, and that money stops.
Yeah. So who would you say your number 2 pick would be then, Ian, if you had to pick somebody that wasn't on crack cocaine like the Ultimate Warrior?
Yeah. And the Ultimate Warrior he had that energy. That's why I said
He was
his-
awesome. No, he
his
was
moments.
awesome. There's no denying it.
But his promos and stuff like that, and the fact that his stunt wasn't as long as it could have been because of his thing with Vince, I can't put him as a candidate for the greatest. I can't.
Okay.
Macho Man is definitely up there because of his promos. His promos.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was even in Spider-Man. I got you for 3 minutes. Yes. Bonesaw. Randy. He was.
Bro, he's so wild.
Yes. Macho Man Randy Savage is an icon.
I love it.
Fuck. It's
So you're not
hard.
going with Macho?
It's hard. It's hard, man, because I'm thinking of all these guys.
I'll take Macho Man.
I was gonna say, wait. It's hard because you're thinking of all these guys.
Thinking of Bonesaw.
I'll let you get to that.
Enjoy the bone sauce. Oh yeah.
I watch wrestling alone while the lights off. Don't come in, Mom. I'm watching wrestling.
I can't find my bathing oils.
Have you seen my moisturizing mask? No. I don't fucking know. Okay, fine. If Andre is number 1 for me, then my backup I would say is the Undertaker.
Nice.
For the level for the fact that the character that created around him, the mystique, the unbeaten thing that lasted until the Brock Lesnar thing.
Oh yeah. The WrestleMania streak.
Just the vibe. When you heard that like dong and the music, it was a vibe.
You knew shit was going
You knew
down.
it was your ass.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you knew it was
Oh
something.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So, and the fact that he gave his body to the company for like 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And
He has a Choose Your Own Adventure on Netflix
Really?
with Xavier Woods and those guys.
Interesting.
So they're trying to get the urn from his house. and he's got
that's
like
hilarious.
monitors, and he's watching them trying to break in and shit, and he's like setting up traps for them, and you got to choose which way they're going.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. WWE's gotten to the point where they're doing choose your own adventures.
That's funny.
On
he's
Netflix.
actually a really likable guy. I watched the Joe Rogan with him and
Yeah.
everything. He's
No,
he's a
enjoying
cool dude.
retirement. It's just he put his body through hell.
Sure.
For the company, and Vince McMahon can't even talk about it. If you try to watch the documentary on the Undertaker, and they asked Vince McMahon, they said, "What does the Undertaker mean to the company?" And Vince just starts crying.
Yeah.
Like he can't even talk about it
Yeah,
because how much that dude gave.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
For as vicious as a businessman Vince is, when you do see him do interviews talking about the people themselves, you can tell how much he actually does care for the athlete.
But the people that matter, right?
That's
the difference.
I
like
haven't
the
seen
Hulk
him-
Hogan's,
yeah,
the John Cena's.
Yeah, I
he's
haven't-
like the stars because he doesn't give a fuck about the guy that wears the pink trunks in the corner who can't sell tickets.
Yeah, I haven't seen him talk
Get out
about
of here,
like
you loser.
talk about like Bret Hart. I don't know how well he
he's gotta respect him.
He does.
He's
There-
got to
there-
for
there's-
what he did for the company,
there-
even though he did
there's
shit on
there's
him.
a respect, but he did sell him out to
he
kick
did.
him out of the company.
Oh, he did.
did.
Fucking
Where he
hard.
deliberately had him lose a match he was supposed to win.
Okay, all right. All right. So let me ask you about the Undertaker then. Did you like the transition when he went into biker Undertaker?
No, I didn't. But the thing is, that just shows you how much power he had. Like the Undertaker was the locker room leader, and everyone would tell you that. In the
Right.
locker room, he was the guy everyone went to. He was the experienced guy.
Sure.
And I always liked the dark, ominous eye roll up in the head.
Yeah.
Like I loved that. Like when
Yep.
he
The
did the American.
glove.
Well, one, I hate Limp Bizkit. So when he came out to, when he keep rolling. No,
You're
fuck
like,
that.
no.
You know, they did actually put out an album recently, and I think it's called
Fred
Limp
looks weird.
Bizkit Sucks or some shit
Yeah.
like that. He named it.
Yeah,
I agree.
Fred looks
I
pretty
agree,
weird.
Fred Durst. You do suck.
Find that.
Okay, so then didn't like the transition. I didn't either. I really
No.
wasn't feeling
To
it.
me, he was the Undertaker.
Yeah.
He was always dark and spooky, and that was his thing. You couldn't kill him. The whole biker thing was meh.
What about his cohort, his manager that he had there for a while?
Not Paul Heyman.
Not Paul.
Paul
Bunyan.
Bear.
Paul Bearer.
Paul Bear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Paul Bear was creepy.
Yeah.
He was creepy, and he
I
belonged.
liked him.
It's called Still Sucks. Their
Still
new
sucks.
album.
Yeah. I liked him in the
For-
beginning.
yeah.
I think he helped the sell.
He did. He carried
Yes.
around the urn. That was awesome. It had
Yeah.
You ain't inviting that guy to the house.
no, or you are, because you don't want him in the yard.
No,
you know.
fuck that. Yeah.
Yeah, Undertaker was around so long. That's back when the characters that didn't speak much had people that would sell for them.
Yes.
So I just looked up something on Ric Flair, who I would put as the number 2 drinker in the history of for a 20-year span on the road to keep his lifestyle going because he was wrestling 6 of the 7 nights. Ric Flair drank at least 10 beers and 5 mixed drinks every day. Every day.
Ooh, boy.
Like every night after the show or throughout the day, he would consume that. Like the mixed drinks, he said, would happen mostly at night when he went out. He said, but the 10 beers were usually throughout the day.
Through
to
the
get him
day.
Damn. All right. That's
I want to see a slice of that man's
That's
liver.
pretty wild.
I just want to see a slice of it. That's all I want to like.
they built them differently back then. That's
Oh my
all I
God.
gotta say. You know?
Well, if the ESPN 30 for 30, if you look at the workout, like Ric Flair went to somebody, I forget the guy's name, but it's in the documentary, to train because like professional wrestlers, they took that shit seriously.
Right.
Yep.
Like even though it's entertainment, even though it's choreographed, you need to be a specimen. You need to be an absolute unit for them to even consider.
Otherwise,
you.
you're gonna
Yeah.
break on the road.
And if you look at young Ric Flair when he was first started out, he is jacked. He is just fucking. I mean, he's a barbarian.
Yeah.
Yep.
The workout that they went through, the guy he went to was insane. Like he lived in a high-rise apartment, and he would make the guys like get on their one person's back and then walk all
the
like flights of
stairs.
stairs to the top. And then when you got to the top, the dude like held your feet, and you had to wheelbarrow your way back
damn.
down. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, there's no way. Like,
Yeah.
I was looking at this workout he had to do, and it was literally hours. It was
Yeah.
like 5-hour workout.
Imagine face planting like that,
On the-
wheelbarrowing down the
on the
stairs.
cement.
Ooh.
I'm sure somebody did.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure they did.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure they
Look,
did.
I was in the service, and they made us do stupid shit like that. And there were no specimens in the beginning.
Yeah.
There was a lot of face plants.
Oh yeah. That's yeah. They were yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh shit. Okay. All right. So let's jump into WCW then. All right. We're gonna single them out for a character favorite from the WCW. Okay,
Probably Eric Bischoff because of how much of an asshole he was.
He was a dick.
Where he used to come out every night and then read the script for WWE. He had an informant. He had an informant in the WWE.
Yeah.
And
But you gotta love him for that.
during
shit.
the Monday Night Wars, he would go out and he would just say, "This is what happens. You don't need to watch that shit." Like it was like, what are you doing?
Yo, that was raw though. That was. You know what? You want to fight Vince? We're gonna fight.
It was cutthroat.
Yeah, but it made it more entertaining though too.
Still fucking lost to Vince.
Yeah.
It
Yes,
didn't matter.
he did.
He was telling you what was going to happen. Still lost to
But
Vince.
you know what? There was a moment in time where WCW did overtake the Monday night.
Probably the NWO era. Probably.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one I wasn't big into WCW. I won't lie. I was a WWF kid that transitioned to WWE. If I had to pick one person, Bill Goldberg.
Goldberg.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I'll say that is just the once again the aura,
The energy, the
like
thing.
his
that he brought.
walkout, like the music, and then the spraying the fucking embers on him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's a football star. He was amazing.
Yeah.
And Bill Goldberg is strong.
Yeah, when you seen him come out to the ring, you believe nobody was gonna take that streak.
There's no
He was
way.
gonna fuck
There's no
you
way.
up.
He picked up the Big Show. His move, the jackhammer,
Yeah.
where he picks you straight up in the air and holds you.
Yep.
He did that with the Big Show.
Yeah.
The Big Show's 400 plus pounds. He literally picked him up and held him still.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, no. Like that's borderline gorilla. Like that's no.
for me,
And see, that's why these guys transition so well into professional fighting.
that's true.
Because
This
how
is
do you
true.
deal with that? Like that's still a level of strength that most humans don't have to handle.
And they have to be able to take an amount of punishment and absorb it night after night.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's
Yeah.
why, like, I'm close to 200 pounds, and, like, we do jujitsu and stuff like that, but I guarantee you Bobby Lashley would beat the shit out of me.
Oh, he's a
I
beast.
guarantey
He's
you.
huge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's
he's an
a
animal.
level of strength that I've never dealt with, and he
Yeah.
would melt me like butter. I wouldn't fucking be able to. If he started punching me in the face, my body wouldn't be able to deal with it. I would just die.
Bobby Lashley, I could take that dude.
Okay,
You know what I
there you
mean?
go,
No,
Bobby.
I'm just
there you go.
kidding.
If
I'm
you're
just
listening,
kidding.
Bobby, if you're listening,
No,
Nelson,
don't listen. Don't listen.
We'll have you on, Bobby.
Ignore the comment.
He's got mats in a garage out back. We got you, Bobby. No one will see.
All right. WCW. I'm gonna have
But
to
you
go
know
with,
what? They
I'm gonna have
keep-
to go with Sting
They keep trying to sell Bobby Lashley, and it
He's
doesn't
corny.
work.
because he's
No.
corny.
He
That's
doesn't
why.
work.
Well, he
He's
doesn't
big.
have.
He doesn't have charisma.
It's like Brock.
Yeah, he's corny.
Brock Lesnar needs Paul Heyman.
Yes.
Yeah.
He can't sell a promo.
But Brock has another kind of aura too, right? He
Well,
has
Brock's
that
got the scary
menacing-
aura.
Yeah, he's big. You believe he could fuck everybody up.
And that's the one thing that bugs me when people say, "Oh, well, professional wrestlers can fight, like they could win. Look at what he did." Brock Lesnar was a fucking Division I All-American.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That dude could have went to the Olympics. He was a
yeah.
monster.
Yeah. No, but all right. Sting, WCW. That's
Yep.
my pick.
I was about to say
The
that.
baseball bat, the trench coat,
Face paint.
the face paint, like, you know, all the kids in the school that were wearing their trench coats, that was their god, you know? When he did the whole crow thing, I thought it was dope. He was hiding in the rafters.
Yep.
He was beating up groups of people with a bat.
Well, he had
NWO,
his-
right?
he had his
went
thing.
after the NWO.
He had
Yep.
his thing.
Yes.
Sting
yes.
had his thing, and the fact that he did it and sold it, that's what makes you a star.
And the longevity. He's another one of those guys who not only captivated a crowd, but he did it for so long.
Yeah.
He was basically their version of an Undertaker.
Yeah.
Right? Because when he came out, he was, I'm Mr. Solo, individual, and I'll take on anybody.
Yep.
You know, it's just me and my bat.
Yeah.
So I liked Sting. I liked his presence. He was probably the one guy that, like, I was always hoping would go into the WWE when he was at the height of his wrestling career.
Yeah.
But he was WCW's big guy in the ring. So besides Ric Flair, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sting.
Ric
for
Flair
me.
I count everywhere because he wrestled with the Four Horsemen. He wasn't even in WCW or WWE. He was out on the road.
So not Daniel Bryan.
Come on, he's everybody's favorite.
How about the 1, 2, 3 kid? No, nobody's picking
Oh,
the 1, 2, 3
yeah.
kid.
people like
Tupac.
people like CM Punk too, but I you know.
I didn't like CM Punk.
I haven't forgotten your MMA career.
Yeah,
Punk.
no,
I haven't.
yeah,
I won't
you
ever
shit
forget
the
it.
bed there, bro.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I never liked CM Punk. I thought he was pretentious.
He's one of those that puts to bed whether the professional wrestlers can go into professional fighting.
You can't. You can't. That's the thing. Everybody like Brock is the most successful.
Mm-hmm.
Brock won the heavyweight title. He beat guys like Mark Hunt. He beat Shane Carwin.
Yep.
He's a legit monster.
Oh, don't
a
forget
legit
about Ken
monster.
Shamrock.
Ken Shamrock. Yeah, Ken Shamrock was a fighter that went into pro wrestling.
Yep.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. In Japan, it's more because the thing that people don't realize about Japan pro wrestling, there's an agreement in Japanese pro wrestling where the winner isn't always in the script.
Yeah.
It's pro wrestling, but the guy who holds the belt is the toughest motherfucker in the locker room. Because in the back, and Ed probably knows about this too, if you don't like the result of the night, if they say, okay, tonight, Akira, you're supposed to lose to Shoji. If Akira don't like that and he thinks he can beat Shoji's ass, they have a fight in the locker room. If fucking Akira beats Shoji's ass, that just changed.
Oh shit!
You ain't the champion anymore, Shoji.
I like this.
Yes. So
it was semi-real in the ring.
yes.
No shit.
Yeah, and that's where Ken Shamrock, because
There's that MMA. There's that fight that one professional match. It was the legendary Akira Inoki or Antonio Inoki, the dude that actually had a match with Muhammad Ali. He's a legendary Japanese pro wrestler, and that was actually what people consider the first big televised MMA fight.
Yeah,
because it was Muhammad Ali against Antonio Inoki, and he would like lay on his back, kick Muhammad Ali's legs.
So it wasn't Rocky Balboa versus
versus Thunderlips.
Thunderlips.
No, it wasn't.
Now that should have been Hulk
But that
Hogan's
inspired it. That's actually that was an inspiration for that.
the way Japan ran it, it was like pride fighting.
Yes.
Where it was a fight, and there was sometimes a agreed upon winner, but what they were doing to each other in the ring, they were legitimately
fighting each other,
looking to fucking hurt the other guy.
so they could take the spot.
And Japanese pro wrestling, if you look at the moves, they're a lot more technical and a lot more real life than American pro wrestling. A lot of their suplexes, a lot of their holds are real moves, real takedowns, real submissions.
I've said it on here before. You got to listen to some of the Ken Shamrock interviews where he talks about
he was a Japanese pro wrestler too
in Japan.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was as close to real fighting, and in some cases it was a real fight.
So you got to give it up to Ken Shamrock because he's been around the block.
Well, I think the guy that started Pride, I want to say something. I think his last name's Takada. He was a pro wrestler, and he even fought Hickson Gracie in one of the first Pride events. He was the owner of the company. Kazuyuki Fujita, the Iron Head. He is a win over Ken Shamrock. He was a pro wrestler.
So one would say he fought for pride?
Yes, you would say that. But Bill Burr talks about this one professional wrestling match he watched, and you can look up the video on YouTube, and it's the great the great Antonio, this big fat hairy dude that's like this professional wrestler. He fights Antonio Inoki.
Sounds like a great
in Japan.
Antonio.
And the dude wasn't selling it. Antonio Inoki would go to hit him or fake a move or something, and the great Antonio would act like it wasn't hurting him.
Yeah.
And he was like, he wasn't selling the moves. He was being a dickhead. He was being a dickhead.
Yeah.
And at one point, he Antonio Inoki's down or whatever, and like this dude's really clubbing him, really fucking clubbing him in the back of the head, and you just see Antonio Inoki snap. He just fucking snapped, and he starts like palm striking the shit out of this dude, and the dude falls to the ground. He with wrestling boots on. Kicks him in the fucking face over and over again. And like the one dude's promoter, the great Antonio's promoter, is just going, oh my God, like dude, there's fucking blood everywhere. He beats the living shit out of this guy.
He's like, well, that didn't go according to plan.
There's a hierarchy here, and this dude was notorious for being an asshole, and you gotta look it up. It's Antonio Inoki versus the Great Antonio, and Bill Burr did an actual review of it.
Awesome.
And it's unbelievable.
Watch that.
It's so good. He
That
beats the living
great.
shit out of this guy. So in Japan, fighting and professional wrestling are much closer linked.
Okay.
And that's, Pancrase.
Yes.
One of the biggest MMA things in Japan for a while. They fought in like wrestling boots.
Damn.
And there was like only open-handed strikes to the head. And like there's so many rule sets where it was set up to help professional wrestlers transition into MMA.
Sounds like the house I grew up in. Open-handed slaps.
Dude, Nate
wrestling
Marquardt.
boots.
Nate Marquardt fought for the UFC middleweight belt. He started in Pancrase.
Okay.
There's a lot of good fighters that came out of it.
Shit, what's his name?
Frank Shamrock, Boss Rutan.
Boss Rutan
was a Pancrase
was
guy.
a Pancrase guy. Yeah.
Japanese pro wrestling.
That's why he's got those crazy boots when you watch his fights.
Yeah.
The jump splits.
In Pancrase,
He was doing jump splits. That was part of the skit, man.
Oh, that's another character. I love listening to his interviews. He's a wild man.
And then on the other end, there's CM Punk, who just can't fight.
Yeah.
Hand wraps,
guy?
shaved head, can't fight. Can't fight at all.
All right. So, let's jump in. I got another one for you guys then. Let's go into tag teams. What would you say is your favorite tag team? Let's start with Ed.
Ooh.
Good pick. Ian, what about you?
Does
Probably Riley Reed. And,
that's a different kind of tag team.
oh, shit. I'm sorry.
Censored. Censored.
My bad.
Hide your kids.
Wrestling.
Wrestling
Sorry.
tag team. God damn, Ian.
You threw me off with the
Stay on
hashtag.
track,
Sorry.
bro. Come on.
You threw me off with the hashtag. I'm sorry.
But that is a good one.
That was a good one. Okay. Go ahead, Ed. Go ahead.
The Rock and Sock Connection. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's a terrible name. It's
It
a
is.
terrible name.
But it's also such a good
so
name.
good.
They were fucking hilarious together.
They were hilarious.
Yeah, they sold it. They sold it. Yeah, people wanted to see them. They were hilarious. They didn't take themselves seriously.
No.
I don't. I mean, how
you
could
can't.
you?
You can't.
How could you with a sock being pulled out of your groin as a finishing fucking move?
I
And
don't
he
know.
puts it in your mouth.
Oh man!
I don't
hope he
know.
washed.
I don't know when Mick Foley ever took anything seriously
But he sold it.
in the ring.
But
But
yeah, one of the greats.
yeah.
And he was not on the top 10.
I
Watch
know.
Mojo.
I know. Like he put his body through some serious shit for
He
the
had like
company.
half a
Bryan.
dozen characters. He would
Dude Love.
He would wrestle in the same federation under multiple names.
hope he got
Cactus
different
Jack.
paychecks.
Same night. Same night.
yeah, same night. Yeah.
He was a fucking savage.
He was.
What they should have done is they should have had him get eliminated from the Royal Rumble at like number 3 or 4 or whatever.
And then come back.
backstage, come out as Cactus Jack, get eliminated, go backstage, come back as Dude Love.
Holy shit!
That's what they
that's
should
that's
do.
fucking great. That's fucking great. All right, so you got Rock and Sock Connection for obvious reasons. You got
Yes.
two greats in there. Ian, what about you, man?
I'm gonna go with the champions of every little goth and emo kid across the world. I'm gonna go with the Hardy Boys.
Ooh,
Okay.
Matt and Jeff Hardy.
Yes, yes.
You know, Matt Hardy was good, and he got famous a little later when he did the weird thing. Right?
He was a little low risk.
Yeah, he was.
He did a leg drop from the second rope.
Nah, that wasn't
But he
the
did
same.
this.
Yep. The second rope. Come on.
No. And Matt Hardy got famous later when he got like.
I don't know how he got away. How did he get away with that shit?
I don't know.
He didn't even go to the third rope. He went for the second rope.
That was Jeff's job.
You could have jumped
yes.
from the ground that high.
Jeff was a little crazier with the swanton bomb.
Oh yeah, which is why
Jumping off
Jeff's
of everything.
career propelled to different heights.
It also
without
might have led
Matt.
to his drug addiction and later.
Might have.
Possibly,
Might
but
have.
he was a great painter.
What?
Fuck out of here. That's the drugs talking.
Yeah.
All right? That's all that fucking
yeah,
concussion to the head.
I think with Matt and Jeff Hardy with their like fishnets and coming out with Lita.
Yeah,
and,
Yes.
yeah.
I think their whole persona of like the angry alternative kid.
Yes.
That was my
Yeah.
favorite.
They,
That was
they
my
did,
go-to.
and their entry music was dope. It got you hyped. Yeah.
yes.
All right, I'm gonna go a little more old
Dun,
school.
dun, dun,
I'm gonna go a little more old school. I'm gonna talk about the Legion of Doom.
Okay, all right.
They had the spiked football
Pads.
shoulder
Hawk
pads.
and Animal.
Yeah,
Hawk
Hawk
and
and
Animal.
Animal. To me, they sold the badassness. When they came to the ring, I was like, somebody's gonna get fucked up. Something's going down.
Yeah.
And they had some of the best matches.
Road Warriors.
The Road Warriors against the Hart Foundation. Right? They had when they had some really serious matches against them, and I think against the Rockers.
And the Bushwhackers?
The Bushwhackers. At that
They were
time,
inbred. They were
that
fucking
time,
inbred.
they were really selling tag team matches. I think that's when they had some of the best tag team groups.
The Nation of Domination.
Yes.
What the hell? The Dudley Boys.
The Dudley Boys.
yeah.
Yep.
Bubba
Yeah.
Rett. Get the table.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah.
I apologize to my little brother for every table. I'm sorry.
But it was a good time for you, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mom, I have good news and bad news.
You're gonna need a new kitchen
Yeah,
table.
yeah.
But they're on sale at IKEA.
The good news is I got us a new table. Bad news is Shay's in the hospital.
Again.
Oh shit. Good stuff.
Yeah, I liked the Legion of Doom, their whole style, their persona. They were dope. They were badasses.
They had a post-apocalyptic feel to them. That was like right out of Mad Max.
Yeah.
definitely.
Right out of Mad Max.
All right. So
No, we never mentioned DX. We talked
yes.
about tag teams, everything.
But there was never just two of them.
They were always just their whole thing was just
Generation X,
That was the whole
yes.
suck it.
Before I
That
was
it.
cut off,
Listen.
I was gonna ask, do we count DX as a tag team?
Ooh.
But it was never just two of them.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say groups.
X-Pac.
They can go into like groups, organizations,
Yeah.
because there was groups like DX, NWO. What was the one with Triple H, Randy Orton, Ric Flair?
Oh my
The
God,
Foundation
the
or
company,
something
yeah,
like
it was
that.
like
Yeah,
the corporation.
The corporate, yeah.
There's something like
there
that.
were a couple of big ones, but what about the detective agency with John Bradshaw Layfield and Farouk?
Oh yeah.
The APA.
Yeah.
The APA. They sold that shit. I mean, that was
JBL,
great.
that's another person that was around for a lot longer than you realize until you look at how long he was there for.
Yeah.
And probably one of the best heels of all time.
Yeah.
Like JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield was the guy you loved to hate.
Hunting
Who
for
was
illegals.
the English dude? The English dude
Oh
was the
my God,
commentator.
William Regal.
William Regal.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. He was
a
good
heel.
too, though.
He was a good heel.
He had the brass
Supposedly,
knuckles.
yeah. Supposedly, William Regal was a dude that like you didn't fuck around with in the locker room.
Yeah, he was a bare knuckle wrestler.
Yeah.
Or fighter, I should say. Yeah, bare knuckle fighter in the UK.
Supposedly, William Regal was like a guy that like if you were backstage and you would mouth off to him, like he wouldn't
take no
he
shit.
wouldn't deal with it very well. Like
Yeah.
they said that they treaded lightly around him in the backstage. 'Cause apparently, he had some altercations with some wrestlers that never turned out well for the other wrestlers. Like,
Ooh, okay.
he would like he
Because he was a
legitimately
legit fighter.
he could legit beat the shit out of people. So
That's
I
great.
mean,
So speaking of heels, right? We got John Bradshaw Layfield in there, right?
Yep.
What other good heels do you guys like?
I mean, the Miz is good. The Miz sells it. He sells a shitty personality.
But
well.
he sells the tool heel, right?
Yeah.
He's a tool. He does it well, right?
Yeah.
But he's like the my generation.
I mean, if we're gonna go legendary heel, like legendary,
yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Iron Sheik.
Ooh, yeah.
The whole anti-American,
Bro.
like
Listen, the longest running heel is Vince McMahon.
there you go.
That's another good one.
He is the longest running heel in wrestling. He has
Kurt
always
Angle.
been the bad guy.
Kurt Angle has a whole chant. You suck. You
Yeah,
suck.
but I don't think he planned for that
it's
to be
true.
a chant.
It's damn
He
true.
didn't plan for that shit to be a chant. It
No,
became a
it became a
chant.
chant.
It did.
You
But then he
suck.
played off it well, right? Because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
would be annoyed by it visibly.
I won a gold medal with a broke freaking neck.
Yeah.
We know Kurt. We know.
That was an accidental lean in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to.
And there's supposedly a story about Brock Lesnar when he showed up in the WWE. Like everyone was intimidated by him. He
Right.
walked into the locker room and everybody was like, "What the hell is this?" Like like a
Yeah.
300-pound animal, like steroid
it was a
induced
behemoth.
monster. Yes.
Yeah.
And he was a fantastic wrestler. Supposedly they were talking the one day,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, "So who would win in a wrestling match, Brock? You or Kurt?"
Ooh.
And Brock pretty much just said real quick, he's like, "I'd win. Like I'm so much bigger than him." And Kurt was like, I don't know if you would. Like I don't know if you would. He said, he's like, you won like a national title.
Right.
He's like, but I won an Olympic gold medal. Like,
Right.
I was the best on the planet. And they supposedly that there's different stories, but there's unanimously everyone agrees on the outcome. And Kurt simply just says, he's like, so we went in the back room. He's like, that was matted. He's like, and we went for 6 minutes, a 6-minute wrestling match. He's like, and it did not go the way he planned. I believe it 100% because size is important. But if you go on like there are levels to
It's a technique.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember talking to Ed Ruth in Penn State, and Ed Ruth was a national champion, and he had just won the national championship. And I remember I was at a nightclub in Penn State, and I was asking him about how the world trials went because he went to try out for our Olympic team, and he wasn't on our Olympic team. And he went, I got my ass kicked, and I was like, what do you mean you got your ass kicked? You just won the national championship, like dominated.
Yep.
And you don't take into account that, okay, you won the national championship that year at college level.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, there's national champions that they work regular jobs now,
Right.
and they just work their ass off.
Yep.
Wrestling every day, trying to get onto our Olympic team to be at the world level.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, there's different monsters. He's like, you might be 21, 22 years old. You're still a kid.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, I'm hot shit. I'm a national champion. Nah, You're gonna bang into a 28-year-old fucking man that works in a factory all day, is single, his walls,
life is wrestling.
his single bedroom apartment with just world wrestling champion. That's all he does. Like he's got iron in his hands. Like
he wears leotards under his work clothes.
And just to see this ridiculous athlete tell me, he's like, I got my ass kicked. I was like, wow, there's levels to this. So that's why I completely believe that Kurt would beat Brock. I completely believe it. Like I think Brock would, because Brock never got to that level where he would be on an Olympic stage.
Yeah. He got to college and stopped.
Yes.
Kurt kept going.
Yeah, Kurt wrestled, and he legitimately, Kurt says it, and it's like a tagline, and people make fun of him for it. Kurt won a gold medal with a broken neck. And beat an Iranian monster to get it. So yeah, Kurt Angle at one point was a fucking monster. So yeah, Kurt Angle was a specimen at one point in his life. He's he's definitely someone, and I heard he's a good dude. I heard Kurt Angle was actually a really good dude.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about Kurt. Yeah. Like in the background, like he's. Yeah. You don't hear any of
locker room talk. Yeah, nobody's bad mouthing Kurt, and like he was a good heel, but like I never disliked him. I always thought like, oh,
he was entertaining. He was always entertaining.
I liked Kurt. The ankle hold or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, you scream like the angle slam. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to go with John Bradshaw Layfield for heel. I liked a lot of the stupid shit that he did. He wasn't afraid to push boundaries. He wasn't afraid to talk shit, politics, race. Didn't fucking matter. Nothing was off limits. And then he transitioned into an announcer later on.
Yep.
And he was fucking hilarious as an announcer. He would talk a lot of shit over there. Yep. And so I even liked, the very controversial border skit.
Yeah.
Jim Ross is my favorite.
Jim Ross, yeah.
Jim Ross is my favorite announcer.
Oh,
God! There's a slobber knocker.
Hey, and I'm selling barbecue sauce.
That's right. Jim Ross, yeah. Dude, that would be is that a barbecue sauce?
He sells barbecue sauce.
If there was a barbecue sauce called Slobber Knocker, I would have every flavor.
I don't know what it's called, but we should look into it. There may be some Slobber Knocker.
We need to talk to Jim Ross, and we need to Sofa Kingdom. We need to bottle and produce Slobber Knocker bottle sauce because your ribs don't taste good till they have Slobber Knocker bottle sauce. Yeah.
That's great.
That's a great idea.
JBL went through a couple of different transitions as characters, but my favorite one was the Big Texan.
Yeah.
He rode in with the limousine. He had the fucking the
horns on the front.
He walked out in the suit. He was Mr. Corporate America.
he was a tag team at one point with Bart Gunn, right? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of JBL.
No.
I'm trying to think.
He was a tag team with Farouk for a while as well.
Definitely. That was the APA when he was doing that shit. But
JBL has always been a character though, and he does have. You're right when you say lasting power. He's been in there for a little bit.
Yeah, he was one of those people that adapted with time.
Yep.
And I think for WWE, extremes are what sell, right? When you watch it, like the Iron Sheik, right? At that time,
who was also an Olympic wrestler.
Yeah, he was a badass.
Yeah.
And at that time, he was doing the whole anti-America against Hulk Hogan.
Who is someone that you hear about behind the scenes
as being an asshole.
Of being a bit of an asshole if he didn't like you.
And if you follow his social media accounts, he's unapologetic. He's an asshole. He doesn't give a shit about political correctness.
The Iron Sheik is who he is.
Yes, good for him.
That was him.
Yeah, and if you look at like the camel clutch is horrific. If you ever did that to somebody, you deserve to be in fucking prison.
You can really hurt somebody.
Oh, like, you kill them. You sit down, they're dead. That's it. Like, literally, if his heels would have slipped, he'd have murdered somebody. Yeah. That's a fucking horrifying movie. Horrifying. But yeah, he was the Iron Sheik. Jesus, I mean that workout he would do.
Yeah, with
the weighted stick, the Persian clubs. Dude, supposedly you can't do it.
It was a badass.
Yeah, supposedly they're like really hard on your forearms. You can't even hold it.
They do sell them. It's fucking tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, I do them in my sleep.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I'm just kidding. All right, guys. So to wrap it up, what would you say is like a crazy moment in wrestling history that you didn't think you would see? And I'll start it off with one of my favorite, not top 10 wrestlers, but I enjoyed watching him when he was around. It was Edge.
Oh, yeah.
And he did basically a sex scene in the middle of the ring with Lita. I'm like, what am I watching? And it's great.
the Attitude Era was very strange.
Oh, they
'cause
pushed the limits.
they also had a striptease contest.
Yes.
In the middle of the ring at one point, and they had a oops.
Yeah.
And the towel didn't cover.
Yeah.
And someone had to run in and help.
Yeah, because they had
So-
kids in the fucking audience.
Some of those matches with Trish Stratus and Sable and
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, they got wild.
and
They got
Sunny.
wild.
Apparently, Sunny was like a
Crazy one.
No-
The Body Donnas.
notorious for her extracurricular activities.
Yes.
Everybody.
You get a Sable. You get a Sunny. You get a Sunny.
Yeah, and on interviews, she's not even subtle about it.
No,
she's,
she
she's
didn't
like,
give a
oh yeah,
fuck.
she's like, I fucked the whole locker room. I'm like, God damn.
Hey, oh, you know what?
Even
Lean
King
in.
Kong Bundy got some.
She's like, double down. Bring
Oh,
in the
man.
fucking Iron Sheik. Bring back the classic guys.
Well, you know, Shawn Michaels got it all. Shawn Michaels
Oh
out
yeah.
there
Oh yeah. He
doing
back then,
splits and I mean, shit.
Oh, yeah. Then when
the
it was.
hair, the dancing.
And then when it was all said and done,
Heartbreak
became
Kid.
born again Christian,
God
super
bless.
I
hardcore
think you
into
have
it.
to.
Yeah, after that,
To
after
maintain
that,
your marriage.
yeah, he's probably going, shit, I ain't going to heaven.
He's like, I believe in God now.
Good stuff.
So that was my OMG moment. Was seeing that in the ring. What about you?
Something I never thought I would see.
Oh, like I said, the stripping in the middle of the
Stripping, so
They
that's
literally
Eddie.
had
All
a
right, yes.
stripping contest.
That's true for a family show.
Yeah, they were wearing lingerie, and the lingerie was too much because that started coming off also.
Fucking hilarious.
Something I never thought I would see. I mean, for one, I would go. I guess I mean I could say the WCW buyout because I never thought that Monday Night Raw was
Ooh,
going to
that's
come
a
to
good
an
one.
end. I never
Yes.
thought that would come to an end.
Yeah.
But something I never thought I would see. Probably Donald Trump. Probably
Okay, all right.
Donald Trump punching out Vince McMahon.
Yeah, that's a
Inside.
good one.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, the head
Yeah.
shaving.
There's been a lot of stuff. Yeah, Donald Trump beating Vince McMahon's ass. There was
How about when Vince had people literally kissing his ass?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was literally having people kiss his ass
Yeah.
in the middle of the
William
ring.
Regal was one of them that had to kiss his ass.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
He probably beat somebody up in the back locker room. Is like, you want to keep your job? You're gonna kiss my ass.
Oh, yeah.
No, literally kiss
Yeah.
my ass.
Because Vince would literally dock pay if you fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sting.
'Cause
Sting.
Stone Cold had it happen to him at one point in time when he left.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you want to come back, you're going to get docked,
Yeah.
and then you can come back.
Yeah. Sting calling Jeff Hardy out on his addiction live on air was a big one.
Oh,
If you haven't
yeah.
seen that one, you got to see that one.
That's a real moment.
That's a real moment. Like he wouldn't even
Yeah.
wrestle him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wouldn't wrestle him. He called him out for being this like a fucking mess, and then like the match ended.
Yeah.
That was it.
You know what?
And it was unplanned, and it was just Sting being Sting.
Yeah.
And I guess when you said about like him being the WCW guy for you,
Yeah.
that's just a testament to the kind of dude that Sting was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he wouldn't even wrestle Jeff in that state, knowing the risk to Jeff's,
And good for him. And he had the legendary status to pull some shit like that.
To
off.
do that and just walk the
Yeah,
fuck
because
off.
if you're a Bobby Lashley,
If you're Bobby Lashley, you're probably just gonna spine buster
Yeah,
Jeff
yeah,
and
just-
kill him,
and just
and
move
therefore
on.
increase his dependency
And
to
just
pain medication. Don't be a Bobby
Move on
Lashley.
with
Don't
your
be a Bobby
no
Lashley.
charismatic ass.
Yeah. Please don't be a Bobby Lashley. Jesus.
All right, so Ed, cue the music. Thank you for joining us at the Sofa Kingdom podcast, and you can find us on all your social media platforms at,
Sofa Kingdom OFC,
and you can find us on YouTube.
Sofa Kingdom Podcast.
Ian, tell them what they need to do.
Please check us out. Please like. Please subscribe. Please.
And I wanted to close this out with, as promised, we said we had some special information, some inside information from the WWE about a special wrestler. I know you guys were waiting for this. Breaks my heart to tell you, but how do I say this? You know, it's Ed. You know what? I don't think I could do this. You know what? You guys are gonna find out on your own. Just tune in to Monday Night Raw. Cause I lied and there was nothing. Fuck you guys.
We, like,
That's how you end the episode.
we here at Sofa Kingdom would like to apologize on behalf of Nelson.
At least 2/3 of us.
Hey, The opinions voiced are inherent of the person voicing them themselves and not of
And
the
not-
Sofa Kings podcast directly.
And not a full representation of us as a whole.
I cheat. I steal.
Rest in peace, Eddie. Rest in peace.